Good morning and welcome to Inside Tennessee. I'm your moderator, John Becker, along with my colleague, John North, and we are focused on county commission and one seat in particular for the upcoming election, and that is a district-wide District 11 seat. There are 11 seats on county commission. 2 of those seats cover the entire county. That is District 10 and District 11. So the candidates for District 11 join us this morning. On the Republican side is Kim Frazier. On the Democratic side is Vivian Shipe. There is an independent running. Donald Bridges was invited to take part, but he's not with us this morning. So it's great to have both of you with us. We spoke to you in the primary, so we may revisit some of the conversations we had there. This is the general election coming up on August 4th. And Kim, let's start with you and tell our viewers a little bit about your background and why you think you're best prepared for District 11.
Sure, thanks. It's great to be with you all. You know, since coming to Knox County over 26 years ago, I've had some incredible experiences that have given me a lot of perspective on a variety of issues. And one of those was how local decisions in local government impact our communities. And after years of working in healthcare as an HR director, as a nonprofit consultant, I really decided to just kind of dive in and commit full time to public service. And so for the past 10 years, I've been out in every corner of the county helping citizens really become champions for issues that were important to them and their community. And what I saw in doing that was a real need for more community-minded leadership, you know, folks with a strong focus on local issues. And I do. You know, I'm passionate about education and public safety and infrastructure. And those are all the things that impact you and your family on a daily basis, and all the things that really position Knox County for responsible physical and economic growth. And so, you know, I'm just ready to deepen my commitment to the people of Knox County, because I believe that's what local government should be about, serving the public.
Thank you. Vivian, your reason for running and your background that you think makes you the best candidate for District 11.
Well, I've spent the last 50 of my 66 years serving the public. I learned long ago that the voice of the community is what is important, and that there's real power in there if we would just listen. So when I started thinking about running, I have 5 platforms. I talked about responsible development and sustainability. I looked at education. I looked at mental health and affordable housing. So, and as those are things that I have fought for 50 years. You know, when we started talking about affordable housing, myself and Seema Singh, about 4 or 5 years ago, we started looking at the importance of that and the shortage. And we started holding town hall meetings all around the county. And so when you see some of the developments you see, they came from those town hall meetings. Because what we did was we brought together people that are in all walks of life to talk about what we needed. And I used that same model when I started developing my team and how I'm going to address these issues. So what I have for all 5 of my platforms, I have what I call a CCC, a Caring Community Cabinet. So we started talking to people from Gibbs to Straw Plains to Hardin Valley, every part of the county and the city. And we started talking about these issues, and their subject matter experts or business owners or developers or neighborhood developers. And we started talking about, what do you need in your community? So that's how we've been able to go forth and learn about what we're going to do in each one of those areas. I've spent 50 years doing being in front of the podium, coming before them, talking about getting bus shelters for the elderly. I was on the team that got the Behavioral Health Urgent Care Center, so I understand about collaboration. You know, I'm fighting for teachers. My mother was a teacher. 4 of my family members were professors at Knoxville College. So education, especially public education, is important.
Let me stop you there, just because I want to get to some of those specifics. John North, I know you have a couple of questions on that.
Candidates, I know there's a lot we want to talk about, including some specifics, but I want to ask you a general question. You're running for what is arguably a unique job, and that is at large, representing 400,000+ people, and it's a very diverse county. You have people who would live, say, in one part of the Knox County who, you know, are very happy with what they've got and know what life is like for them. You've got people who live in the city of Knoxville and they know what their life is like, and it's probably different. So my question is, how do you all represent and go about talking and thinking as an at-large representative? And Vivian, let me start with you. How do you be an at-large person when someone might look at you and say, but you I don't think you represent where I'm coming from.
Well, that was one of the things that I've done for 50 years is that one of the advantages I'll have when I become the commissioner is that I'll be able to bring to the table some of the stories of people, some of my own stories. You know, when you're dealing with people who say, well, you don't understand about mental health and how it affects my family or my children. Well, I do, because I've lived that. When you talk about education, I've lived that. I've worked with all the different community groups. When you talk about housing, affordable housing, I've worked, you may, from the people who are homeless to the people who have multi-million-dollar homes. I have people that I work with and communicate with that tell me their needs. So when you go and you're working on from the other side of the table, you bring those stories. You help people to understand this is what people need. And I have developed relationships with all those areas. So I am the gatekeeper. I am the trusted messengers who can work with that.
And Kim, what about you? Because it is kind of a concept you have to get your head around in terms of representing such a broad, diverse population of people.
Well, very much like Vivian, you know, the experiences that I've had over my time here in Knox County, I've served on dozens of boards and committees and stakeholder groups, and actually have boots on the ground getting out there in every corner of the county. And what I've learned is that every community is different and unique and diverse, and they have varying needs and visions of their communities. And much like Vivian, you know, I've got 15 years in the schools, public schools, working with them. I've helped build and enhance new schools. I've worked with citizens to enhance recreational areas. I've worked with mental health professionals. I've worked with single mother families. I've worked with, you know, preserving natural resources and the landscape that makes Knox County great. I've helped pursue, you know, ensuring ethics in local government. You know, I've been raising awareness about the needs and visions of all of these different communities all over the county. And I'm out there. I mean, I'm boots on the ground. I've been on the back of four-wheelers looking at stormwater issues. I've been with single mothers talking about, you know, affordable housing and jobs. And it's really about being out among the people. You know, we have a real crisis here in Knox County that we are not doing enough outreach and getting out with the people. And that's why I say it's so important that people do elect someone who is community-minded and will focus on local issues.
We only have about a minute left for this block, but I want to ask both of you this question, so if you can keep your answer to about 30 seconds. Kim, what do you think is the most important issue facing the county? And we can dive in more deeply to that in the next block, but what would you say it is and why?
Well, right now, I think it's infrastructure, and people kind of box in what infrastructure means, but it is really a broad topic and it's all encompassing. And it varies everything from roads to schools to mental health to jobs to economic prosperity. And I think that, you know, it's time for us to make some better decisions and become more well-informed. And, you know, that's something I've been advocating for, and we've got a plan, and you know, I'm ready to get in there and implement it.
We'll talk some specifics about infrastructure in the next block. Ms. Shipe, what would you say is the most important issue facing the county right now?
The most important issue that's facing the county right now is mental health. It is the root to everything that we're going to have to deal with, and I'll go into that when we come back, but that is the root.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that. We've set the stage for our next part of our conversation. Stay with us. We'll be back right here on Inside Tennessee.